welcome yet again to the My Zone online school. My name is Esther Kamati, and today I'll be guiding you through the awesome lessons that we have planned for this week. It's a new month, and I hope the grade ones are ready for their first lesson of the month, and that is week 4, lesson 2. So Teacher Hetty is more than ready to welcome you into her classroom. So let's see how she's going to teach us today about the number 4 and counting.
Explanation of symbols on worksheets are as follows. Use coloring crayons to color the picture. Use your finger to follow the track or line or show the correct picture. Use a coloring crayon to draw a line or write a number or sound. Look at the picture and say the number or sound out loud. Use a scissors to cut on the dotted line. Look at the picture. Use these symbols for the lesson of the day, which will be allocated at the top right side of each page. For example, lesson 1, prepositions and directions.
Good day, friends. Welcome back to My Zone online school. My name is Teacher Hetty, and let's welcome our friend. Our theme for this week is colors. But before we start with our work, let's sanitize our hands. We take the sanitizer, we spray it on the inside of our hands, and we rub our hands together, and then we rub on the outside, and we rub between our fingers, and we give our hands a lovely squishy squashy, and we are all set and sanitized. Well, today's lesson is about the number 4 and also about counting. Well, friends, let's start with our counting exercise for today. We are going to count up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 fingers on our one hand. 5 fingers on our one hand. Well, friends, I have an exercise that I would like to do with my friend. You remember that I said bananas are yellow and nectarines are orange. My friend, can you show me which ones are the most? Yes, the bananas are the most. And can you show me which ones are the least? Yes, the nectarines are the least. Well done, my friend. Now, friends, let's turn to page 10. Let's turn to page 10. And on page 10, we are going to focus on number 4. Well, I'm going to write for you number 4 so that you may see how we write number 4. Okay, so let's take a closer look. We start at the top of the line and we go skew down and we make a straight line and then we give him a little line in the middle. And that is number 4. Remember, we start on top and we go skew down and then we stop and we go straight and then we just give him a line in the middle. Now, on page 10, let's count the apples on page 10. We have 1 apple, 2 apple, 3 apple, 4 apples. We have 4 apples. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Friend, you can show with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 apples. Now I would like you to do the exercise on page 10. You are going to count the apples and you are going to color them in, and you may use a green or a red or a yellow. And then you go to the little blocks and follow and start at the top of the line and go down underneath and then make a straight line and make your line in the middle and write your number 4 all the way in all the blocks. Well, friends, I hope you will enjoy that exercise. Well, friends, let's turn to page 11. Remember, we did number 4, and now I want you to just sit and relax, and then you are going to trace number 4 and you are going to color it. Remember, you may use any of the colors that we spoke about today. Enjoy the coloring exercise, and then we are going to move on to our next page. And for our next page, remember the lesson I taught you on most and least. We have the most apples and we had the most nectarines. Well, look at page 12. Let's see. On page 12, which one would be the most dogs? Let's look at the first line. The last block would have the most dogs. Let's look at the pumpkins. Well, I think the middle line would have the most pumpkins. And now let's move up. And which one of the chicks, which would be the most? Let's see. I think the first block would be the most. And then let's look at the leaves. The last block would be the most. Well, friends, you may use this exercise on page 12 and you may color the most in each group. You may color the most in each group. Now, let's continue on to page 13. And I would like you to do this exercise on your own. Remember, now you know what number 4 looks like, and I would just like you to circle all the number 4s on that page. Enjoy. Let's turn to page 14 of our exercise. Well, on page 14, we see we have some addition. Let's look at our addition sums. They say 6 strawberries plus 3 strawberries. We are going to use our objects that we have in class, and we are going to use apples. My friend, let's count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 apples plus 3 apples. Let's see. Let's count them all together. 1, let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 plus 3 is equal to 9. Let's do one more demonstration to see if you remember. Let's see. Let's look at the number of the burgers on the picture on page 14. We have 3 burgers. 1, 2, 3 burgers, and plus 2 more burgers. 1, 2. Let's count them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 altogether. Addition means to bring numbers together to make a greater number, and addition means we want to add. We bring numbers together to make a greater number, or we add numbers. So now, if you look on page 14, you may now enjoy that exercise. Remember, count the objects and add them together. Now let's continue on to page 15. That's a fun exercise for the whole family. Now, if you look on page 15, we have included a little bit of number names, and we made it a little bit more difficult for you to see if you are up to the challenge. You may use this and do some number names with your family. Ask mommy or daddy to help you. You may write the number name next to the picture. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Thank you for that. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Let's remember we did an exercise on counting from 1 up to 5, and we focused on the number 4. We also said addition means to bring numbers together to make a greater number. Well, now I would like you to turn to page 16 so that we just take a look at number 4 again. Remember, you may now write number 4 on the line on top, and you may count Mary had a little lamb, and then you may write number 4 in the blocks below the sheep, and then when you look at the number line, see what number is missing, and then you fill in the number line. You may enjoy coloring this page. And now, before we say goodbye, let's sanitize our hands. We take the sanitizer, we spray it on our hands, and we rub it inside and on the outside, and we rub between our fingers. And then we give our hands a lovely squishy squashy, and we are all set and sanitized. I wonder where is Shoshi? Shoshi! Shoshi! Let's say goodbye, friend.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh and I'm back. Even though the schools are closed, I thought about we can still do online classes, learning and reading. You can also do your schoolwork. Until next time, bye!
That was so much fun writing the number 4 and counting with teacher Hetty. So now we're moving on to the grade 2 and 3. You see, no one is going to be left out because now we're going into teacher Mutsa's class where she will be teaching us about the simple present tense.
Grade 2s and 3s, welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa and I have my friend with me today. Let's say hi to everyone at home. Our theme this week is traditional and modern house and building materials. But before we get into our lesson, we need to sanitize our hands. We take our sanitizer. You should be used to this by now. Inside, in between, round and on our wrists. Let's air dry a little bit. Well done. Our lesson today is models, simple present tense, sight words, and the sound dr. Our first exercise can be found on page 9. Here we will be talking about models. Now, there are 2 words that you need to know, can and may. The word can is used when we're showing ability. Are you able to do it? And the word may is used when we are asking for permission, almost like please. Let's take a look at number 1. Number 1 says, I dash finish my work on time. Let's take a look at the board now. Remember, we have our word can and may. For number 1, do we say can or do we say may? The answer is can. I can finish my work on time. If you thought the answer was can as well, well done. Please can you circle the word can? Let's take a look at number 2 on page 9. Number 2 says, I don't know if I dash get to the game on time before it starts. Let's look at the board and choose. Do we say can or may? Remember, can is when we're asking about ability, and may is when we're asking for permission. It doesn't sound like they're asking for permission. So we say can, and the sentence will read, I don't know if I can get to the game on time before it starts. The rest I'll ask you to do by yourselves. And it's simple. Remember that can is asking for ability. Are you able? And may is asking for permission. Let's take a look at the half of the exercise that is at the bottom on page 9. Here, they are now asking you to use can and may in sentences. You are going to make your own sentences. Now remember, when you're making a sentence, you start with a capital letter and end with a full stop. I hope your sentences are beautiful and that they make sense. Now let's look at page 10. On page 10, we have simple present tense. Now this means that the words we are going to use are happening right now. The present means now. And we are going to be using the verbs. Let's take a look at number 1. Number 1 says, my friend dash me. Now because we are dealing with what's happening right now, we don't say helped because that is past tense, but we say helps. Let's take a look at the board. If you take a look at the board, you're going to see that we have only changed it by adding an S. So the word help has changed to helps. And now we can complete the sentence. Take a look at your paper. You're going to say, my friend helps me. I want you to please write the word helps. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 reads, Sam dashed to play chess. Now, if we look back on the board, we said that the word help changes to helps. And the same rule applies to the word like. Like changes to likes. And that becomes our simple present tense word. And if we look back into our booklet, we are going to see that it will say, Sam likes to play chess. I'd like you to please write the word likes. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3 says, she dash how to speak English well. If we are using the same rule that we have been applying to number 1 and number 2, that means that it will say, she knows how to speak English well. Now that you know how to change a verb into a simple present tense, the rest you're going to do by yourselves. I'm sure you enjoyed your last exercise. And remember, for you to have simple past tense words and remember them, you need to practice speaking to someone. Now, let's take a look at the next exercise on page 11. Here you can see that we have bricks. And since our theme is about building, let's try and sort these bricks out. You can see that we have sight words. And now sight words are words that we use just to see. We are not going to memorize them by sounding them, but rather by seeing them. So we have our bricks here, and it is your job as the builder for the day to make sure that, one, you find all the sight words that are the same. For example, we have the word is. If you find all the is words, the next thing you're going to do is color them the same color. You can use any color you want. Blue, purple, green, orange, any color. And once you have used that one color for the word is, I want you to count how many is words we have. Then you go to the bottom and you write the number of is words you have. You are going to do this for all the bricks that we have there. My friend, whilst we were busy, was doing the first 4 words that he found. Would you like to go and show them? There we have it. Now, make sure that when you are done with your exercise, you are going to circle the bricks that were the most. Now, let us turn back to page 12. On page 12, we are continuing with our sight words. Remember, these are the words that we're not going to sound when we remember them, but by seeing them. And we have 5 of them here. We have from, put, again, any, and how. And it looks like the house is trying to give us a clue on how to make our sentences. So you are going to make 5 sentences about building, about construction, about anything to do with our theme for this week. But remember, the word how falls into the family of questions. So instead of ending with a full stop, you are going to end your sentence with the word how with a question mark. I hope you enjoyed making those sentences. And remember, we are supposed to stick to our theme. So all your sentences must either be about building or building materials. And remember, every sentence must end with a full stop or a question mark if it is a question word. Now I would like to introduce you to a new sound. For today we have d and r. And when d and r meet, they make the sound dr. Let's say the sound together. Dr. One more time. Dr. Very good. Now this sound appears at the beginning of words most of the time. And it's very rarely that you see it in the middle of words. And it never appears at the end of words. We have our 2 special words that go with our building theme today. We have a drill, and we have the word drill. Let's say the word together. Drill. Very good. One more time. Drill. And we can see a drill. But there's something else that makes a sound that's not the drill. It is called a jackhammer, and I want you to pretend to hold your jackhammer. It's like this, and it goes in the ground, and as it goes in the ground, it makes the sound. So a drill and a jackhammer are different. But we also have another thing that is at our construction sites, which is called a drum. You can see it's there. Let's say the word drum together. Drum. Very good. Try by yourselves. Wonderful. Now that we know the sound dr, and we have seen some words that have the sound dr, let's go to our exercise on page 13. Here you can see that we have many other words and pictures that have the sound dr in them. Your job is to read the words below and match them with the pictures by writing the number in the correct box. Let's take a look at the pictures. We can see that there is a car, but the word we want there is driver. So I'd like you to take your pencil and write what number in the order that we can see that the word driver comes. Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? The next we can see a drink. Is drink 1, 2, 3, or 4? The next one we can see is a different type of drum, the one that we play. Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? And the last one is a beautiful dress. Is that dress 1, 2, 3, or 4? If you managed to do this exercise together with me, well done. I'm very impressed. Let us go to the next exercise that is just below the one that we finished. Here, it is asking you to find your own words that have the dr blend in them. And remember, the first sentence has been done for you. And let's read it together. Uno loves to drink cool drink during break time. You can see that the word they have chosen there is drink. So you are not allowed to use that word because it's already there. However, you're allowed to make your own for the next ones, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And the last exercise that we can see there is still talking about the sound dr, and is asking you to find these words and color them in. Now this is a fun exercise, so I'm not even going to do this with you. You are going to do this one at home. And remember to use color and have lots of fun. We've come to the end of our lesson today, but I hope that this lesson was fun for you. And remember, building takes a lot of work and you need to know a lot of things. So now that we are done with our lesson, let us sanitize our hands. Yes, and it's important also for workers in a construction site to also sanitize as well. But I haven't seen our friend. Where is Zoshi today? Oh, hello Zoshi. All right, everybody, take care and remember to practice social distancing. Bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh and I'm back. Even though the schools are closed, I thought about we can still do online classes, learning and reading. You can also do your schoolwork. Until next time, bye!
It was so much fun being in Teacher Mutsa's class. She even taught us about sight words. But as our theme for this week is to keep on learning, we're going to move now to our grade 4 and 5 class where Teacher Phineas will be teaching us mathematics for week 4. So let's join in on the fun.
Good morning, Namibia. Welcome to my zone online school. My name is Mr. Phineas Majon. I'm here with Chanel. Let us start by sanitizing our hands. When you are sanitizing your hands, you are supposed to spray inside your hands. Then, after done, you are supposed to make sure that you are putting on your mask. Let us maintain social distance. Today, We are going to focus on grade 4 and 5 mathematics. The lesson for today is going to focusing on number and number patterns. Yeah, let us turn to page 13. On page 13, we are going to start with odd and even numbers. Whole numbers are classified as odd and even numbers. Even numbers, they end with 0, 2, 4, 6. Whereas odd numbers, they always end with 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So when you are counting in twos, it means you are listing all the odd numbers. So there are examples shown there on page 13, which show odd numbers. The first one is 3, the next one, 125, the second one, third one, 67, then 239, 1,299, 37,657. So when you are identifying odd numbers, you are just looking at the last number. If the last number is ending with the n of the number which are listed on top, it means it's an odd number. The second examples given are even numbers. The first one is 6, then 232, 324, 5,688, 34,670. Let us face on the chalkboard and try to solve some examples which are there. We all know even numbers, they are supposed to end with 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And odd numbers, their units are supposed to have 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So whenever you are identifying your even numbers, you just look at the unit. If the unit is having one of these numbers, it means that number is an even number. Chanel, can you come and help us to identify even numbers? Just underline them. Yeah, let us check whether it is correct or not. We just look at the last number, 8. 8 is also there, meaning to say it's correct. On the second one, just look at the last number, 0. 0 is also there. So it's even. Then on this one, we are having a 2 at the end, which is there. So these answers are all correct. Let us go to the second example. We look at the last number. 1 is also there. So it's odd, and this one, 9, is also there. So it's odd. I think you managed to understand how to identify even numbers. Let us go to page 13 on the bottom. It's written number patterns. When you are given a number pattern or a sequence, you are supposed to take note of the following. The first one, you are supposed to identify the first term or the number which is written first. Then you are supposed to start the pattern to see whether it is increasing or decreasing. If it is increasing, you are supposed to take note of the number by which it is increasing. The same applies when it is decreasing. You are supposed to see it is decreasing by how much. Let us look at the first example. We are supposed to describe the pattern. That pattern is having 50, 55, 60, 65, and 70. The first thing is to identify the first term. So our pattern is starting at 50. Then, if you are starting at 50 and going to 55, it means we are going up. So we are supposed to see we are going up by how many? So we are going to say 55 minus 60, we get 5. So it means each term we are going to have is having 5 more than the previous one. That is why we end up having 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Our pattern is going up. Let us go to the second example. The first term is 880, 860, 840, and 820. From that pattern, we identify our first term as 880. So it means the sequence is starting at 880. But if you go back to our pattern, you are going to see that 880 is followed by 860, meaning to say we are going down. We're having 80, now we are having 60. Then from 60, we are having 40. So if you say 8 minus 60, we are going to get 20. So it means our sequence is going down by 2, meaning to say each number is 20 less than the number before. Let us now go to page 14. On page 14, we are going to put missing numbers. So the skills which we're using on number patterns are the ones which you are going to apply now. To find the missing number, you are supposed to start the pattern first and see whether it is increasing or decreasing. Then we are supposed to find the number by which it is increasing or decreasing with. Let us go to example 1. We are having 2,400 as our first term, followed by 2,402. If we just look at those two numbers, we are going to see that the first number increased by 2. The third number is now 2,404. So it means we're going to have 2, 4, 6 going up like that. So for us to find our first missing number, it means we are supposed to add a 2. So our third number now becomes 2,460. 2,406. Then from that 2,406, we also add another 2 again. Then we go to 2,408. The next one is given already, which is 2,410. Then the last one also add a 2. Then it becomes 2,412. Let us go to the second example. Our first number on the second example is 7,520, followed by 7,515. Then the third one, 7,510. If you look at the first two numbers, we are having 20 at the end, then the second one is having 15 at the end. It means our numbers are going down. But for them to change from 20 to 15, it means they are going down by 5. So it means we are supposed to subtract 5 for us to get the next term. So if we say 7,510 minus 5, we go to 7,505, which is our first missing number. Then you subtract 5 again, we go to 7,500. Then to get the last number, we subtract 5 again, we go to 7,495. So for your activity, the first one, you are supposed to underline odd numbers, like what we did on the chalkboard. I can identify one for you, then you do the rest on your own on number one. Remember, when you are dealing with odd numbers, you are supposed to work with the numbers which are ending with 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So all the numbers which are not ending with those ones are not odd numbers. So 435 is an odd number. You are going to do the rest on your own. Then number 2 is saying underline even numbers. For you to remember even numbers, we are supposed to recite 2's times table, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So any number which is ending with 2, 4, 6, 8, and 0 is an odd number. I can give you 38,000 there as an even number. Then number 3, we are supposed to describe the number pattern. When you are describing the number pattern, we are supposed to first identify the first term. Then you see whether it's increasing or decreasing. I will do 3A for you. We are saying the sequence is starting at 1,000. And each term is having 300 more than the first term, because we are adding 300. Then on number 4, you are putting missing numbers. You are supposed to start the pattern and see whether it is increasing or decreasing. If you start with 175, then you go to 200. You see that it's going up. But you are supposed to see that it is going up by 25. If you say 200 minus 175, you get 25. So you are supposed to add that in same number for you to finish the work. I think everything is done. There is a memo for you to see whether your answers are correct or wrong. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Let us now sanitize our hands. Let us maintain social distance. We are supposed to always put on our masks. Till next time, goodbye.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh and I'm back. Even though the schools are closed, I thought about we can still do online classes, learning and reading. You can also do your schoolwork. Till next time, bye!
Thank you so much, Japinias, for that wonderful lesson on numbers and number patterns. It was so fun. But speaking of fun, let's now move on to Teacher Oswald's class. This is for grade 6 and 7, week 3, lesson 3, and that is English. So today we're learning about abstract nouns, and I feel like this is going to be an exciting one.
Welcome to my zone online school. My name is Oswald Ndoda. With me here is Pomwene. We are going to take you through today's lesson, but before that, let us sanitize. Squeeze our hands inside the palm, outside, and in between the fingers. We also stretch out to make sure we have maintained the social distance. All right. Now, today's lesson is going to be on abstract nouns. Right, let us turn to page 3, where it says abstract nouns. I am going to illustrate a few words on the board. Now, what are abstract nouns? An abstract noun refers to something that you cannot see, hear, touch, smell, taste, or measure. It is usually a feeling or an emotion and names a quality or an idea. The words love, respect, jealousy, patience, etc. show feelings and emotions. The words information, belief, etc. show us qualities or ideas. Now, let us look at the words I'm going to write on the board. We have love, we have respect, we have jealousy, we have patience. Right. All these words have something to do with our feelings. Right. We said an abstract noun. You cannot touch, you cannot taste, you cannot see it, or even you cannot hold it. So what it means is the 5 senses that we have do not have anything to do with the abstract nouns. All right, abstract nouns do not appeal to the 5 senses. It has something to do with feelings. Examples that I've written here are love, respect, jealousy, and patience. So these are intangibles. You can't touch them. You can't touch love. You can't see respect. You can't see jealousy or patience. That's something abstract, something that we cannot touch. Right, let's proceed. Examples. Tangi showed courage when he stood up to the bully from another class. Tangi showed courage when he stood up to the bully from another class. Right, our abstract noun there is courage, which is a feeling. He showed courage. All right. This sentence shows us emotion or feeling displayed by Tangi towards the bully. Tangi was courageous not to let the bully continue bullying others. His courage stopped the bully. So that's the clear explanation or example of an abstract noun, which is courage in this case. Common nouns are like goat, car, boy, etc. because they can be seen or touched. So these are common nouns. Remember last week we talked about the common nouns. On the other hand, words like delight, anger, or trouble are abstract. Somebody is delighted. Somebody is angry. So we talk of anger and delight being abstract. They are not tangible. You cannot touch them. You cannot see anger. You cannot feel it. I mean, you cannot taste it. All right. Abstract nouns, delight, anger, or trouble are abstract nouns because you cannot see, touch, smell, or taste them. Abstract nouns do not begin with capital letters unless they begin a sentence. Abstract nouns do not begin with capital letters unless they begin a sentence. There is an example there of an abstract noun, fear. Fear made her sleep under the table. In this sentence, the word fear is an abstract noun which has been used at the beginning of the sentence. So we are saying it is only when an abstract noun begins or starts a sentence, that's when we can put a capital letter. Otherwise, if they come in between somewhere in the middle of the sentence, you can't use a capital letter. Remember, an abstract noun is not only something that you cannot see, as some concrete nouns cannot be seen. We have concrete nouns which cannot be seen, but they are concrete. Let us look at what they are. An example is, a good example is air. It is a concrete noun. Air is a concrete noun or a common noun. Although it cannot be seen, air is not an abstract noun. It is not an emotion. It is not a feeling or a quality. This is on page, sorry boys and girls, this is on page 4. Can we turn to page 4? Although it cannot be seen, air is not an abstract noun. It is not an emotion. It is not a feeling or a quality. It is a substance, a mixture of substances, and has mass. It can blow you over, take the roof off a building, or knock down a tree. It is made up of molecules that can be seen, weighed, and measured by scientific means. Right, so that's our A there, being a common noun, not abstract, although we cannot see it. We can form abstract nouns from nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Let us look at the examples. On the same page, I will start reading from the bottom on common nouns. Right, we have common nouns there: brother, leader, and scholar. Now let us look at the abstract nouns. We have brother, brotherhood; leader, leadership; scholar, scholarship. Those are the abstract nouns. Then we move on to adjectives. We have able, abstract noun is ability. We have angry, abstract noun is anger. We have beautiful, abstract noun is beauty. We have brave, abstract noun is bravery. Right. Last but not least is the verb. Let's see the abstract nouns formed from verbs. We have know, abstract noun is knowledge; free, freedom; die, death; and lastly, imagine, imagination is our abstract noun. A few examples of abstract nouns used in sentences are as follows. Number 1, father was delighted at the news of his son's success. Son, success. Success becomes our abstract noun from the word succeed. So father was delighted at the news of his son's success. Success is our abstract noun. Number 2, people have faith in banks, so that is where they keep their money. People have faith in banks, that is where they keep their money. Our abstract noun there is faith. Faith is not something tangible, it is a feeling. The last one is, she has great taste in clothes. She has great taste in clothes. Taste is our abstract noun, which we cannot see, we cannot touch, so taste becomes the abstract noun. Right, boys and girls, let us turn to page 5. We want to look at the activities, something that which we can do using abstract nouns. Activity number 1, use the abstract nouns in the box to complete the sentences. I am only going to give one example and then the rest you do on your own. But before that, let me read the words. We have friendship, ambition, jealousy, attitude, courage, imagination, and goals. Our number 1, it says, the businessman has ambition and works hard to achieve his goals. All right, so you do numbers up to 4 on your own. Let's quickly move on to activity 2. Underline the abstract noun in each of the sentences below. They experienced extreme joy when they helped others in need. They experienced extreme joy when they helped others in need. Joy is our abstract noun because we cannot touch it, we cannot see it. So you underline the rest of the abstract nouns in the sentences. Still on the same page, we have activity 3. Circle the abstract nouns in the box. We have quite a number of abstract nouns there, but they're also mixed with verbs, mixed with adjectives, etc. Just pick on abstract nouns and circle them, like the word love. Okay. If we turn to page 6, the 4th activity, it says, write a sentence with each abstract noun given. Write a sentence with each abstract noun given. For example, there is a bravery. Bravery is our abstract noun that has been given. It takes bravery to stand up for what you believe in. It takes bravery to stand up for what you believe in. All right. So you do the rest from kindness up to truth. Let's quickly move on to page 7. We have activity 5 there. Identify and underline the abstract noun or nouns in each sentence. Identify and underline the abstract noun or nouns in each sentence. Number 1, her disappointment was so intense. Her disappointment was so intense. Our abstract noun there is disappointment. So you'd underline that and then do the rest. The next one is activity 6, which says, find the abstract nouns by crossing out words which are not abstract nouns. Make sure you take note of the instruction there. Find the abstract nouns by crossing out words which are not abstract nouns. So what we are going to cross out are words which are not abstract nouns and leave the abstract nouns alone. All right. For instance, a word like tree is not an abstract noun, it's a common noun. So those are the words that you cancel out. But words like wisdom, that's an abstract noun, so you don't cancel it out, you leave it out. Okay, boys and girls, let's move on to the next page, which is page 8. It says, write the concrete and abstract nouns from the sentences below. So what it means is those sentences, they have both concrete and abstract. So under concrete, you write the concrete noun, and then abstract, you write the abstract noun. An example has been given. An education cannot be traded for a house. An education cannot be traded for a house. Right. Our concrete noun there is house because it is tangible. You can actually touch it, you can see it. And then we have abstract noun, which is education. Education is our abstract noun, which is intangible and cannot be seen. Right. Analyze the sentences by cycling the concrete nouns and underline the abstract nouns. Right. There are two things that you should do to each of the following sentences. When you read the sentence, you see a concrete noun, you circle it, and then when you see an abstract noun, you underline it. Okay. For example, there was a sadness in her eyes. There was a sadness in her eyes. Sadness is our abstract noun, so we underline it. And then eyes, that's a concrete noun, then we circle it. It's a common noun or concrete noun. We put a circle there. Right, boys and girls? We can continue writing our work. Right, boys and girls, let us turn to page 9. There is a comprehension passage there. Let's read it through together. And then on the next page, which is page 10, there are some questions which are supposed to be answered by you after reading the comprehension. Make sure you follow through and you understand the passage so that you will be able to answer. Right. Read the passage and answer the questions that follow. Lightning. I'm sure we're all familiar with lightning. Lightning is a bright flash of electricity produced by a thunderstorm. All thunderstorms produce lightning and are dangerous. If you hear sound from thunder, then you are in danger of being struck by lightning. Lightning often leads to death in Namibia and in other places of the world. A bolt of lightning is powerful. It can contain enough volts of electricity to light a medium-sized town. The heat from lightning is 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. If you are outdoors, keep an eye on what is happening in the sky. Look for dark skies, flashes of lightning, or increasing winds. If you hear the sound of thunder, go to a safe place immediately. The best place to go is inside a strong building or in a car, but make sure that the windows of the car are closed. Avoid sheds, metal, and trees. If there is nowhere safe to go, crouch down in the open area, keeping twice as far away from a tree as it is tall. Put your feet together and place your hands over your ears to minimize hearing loss. If you are with a group of people, stay about 5 meters from each other. Stay out of water because it conducts electricity. If you are playing an outdoor activity, wait at least 30 minutes after the last observed lightning strike or thunder before doing anything. If someone is struck by lightning, call for help immediately. Right, boys and girls? I expect you to read for the second time, third time, and perhaps you start answering the questions. But make sure you always make reference to your passage as you answer the questions. Don't answer a question which you haven't understood, because all those questions, the answers are derived from the passage. Right, I said the questions are on the next page, on page 10. Right, thank you very much, boys and girls, for listening. We'll meet in the next lesson, but before I go, don't forget to put on your mask. Don't forget to sanitize. Don't forget to sanitize. Stretch out your hands at least a meter to observe the social distance. Okay, bye-bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Shoshi and I am Peck. My mommy used to tell me that I need to wash my hands and sanitize it to keep the germs away. Also, one thing you can remember is to sing the alphabet song while you wash your hands. After that, it will be super clean. I usually do it. And until next time, bye!
That was so much fun, and we don't want the fun to end, so we're going to continue now with grades 6 and 7 again for week 4, lesson 4, English with teacher Oswald. So let's go right back into his classroom and see what he'll be teaching us now.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to MyZone Online School. My name is Oswald Ndoda, and with me here is Pamwene. Let's wave to greet him. Right, before we continue, let's observe the sanitizing of our hands. Inside the palm, outside, in between the fingers, and let's also stretch out our hands to observe the social distance. And lastly, you also would need to put on your mask. Right, boys and girls, COVID-19 has disturbed a lot of things, including our coming to school, but nevertheless, let's keep on learning online. Let's keep on reading widely. Come across newspapers, magazines, and anything that your hands can land on. Please, let's continue reading to make sure that by the time we come back to school, we will be still remembering our work. Right. Today's lesson is going to be on collective nouns. All right. Let us turn to page 3 of our booklets. Collective nouns. What are they? A collective noun is the name given to a group of animals, people, objects, ideas of the same kind. E.g., a herd of cattle, a flock of sheep, a bouquet of flowers. Collective nouns are considered as one unit and they are singular. Right, collective nouns. As the name suggests, collective, this is a grouping either of people, of animals, or anything that are similar. If they're in a group, that becomes a collective. So the name that we give to them is the collective noun. Collective nouns are considered as one unit and they are singular, which means they are not a plural. It's always a singular. A collective noun is a descriptive way of saying lots of, like lots of books. Should we always say lots of books? What is the collective noun for lots of books? One can say a library of books. Right. However, we should not use lots of in speaking or writing, as this is slang or colloquialism. Think of better words to use in place of lots of. For example, if you wanted to say lots of people sound like a lot of elephants, you could rather say the crowd sounds like a herd of elephants. So the word crowd is coming in place of lots of people, and the word herd is coming in place of lots of elephants. So the crowd sounds like a herd of elephants. Example number 2, instead of lots of birds are flying in the sky, you would say the flock of birds is flying in the sky. So flock becomes the collective noun for a group of birds. So we say a flock of birds is flying in the sky. The word team represents a group of people in a sporting activity. So team is a collective noun. So what we mean here is at school I know you have different teams, either of soccer, that is football, you may have netball, volleyball, baseball, rugby, hockey, etc. So a group of a particular people who share one thing in common, which is, for example, netball. We call it a team. So team becomes a collective noun. Therefore, all words used for a group of things, people, etc., are called collective nouns. Examples: class of students, a staff of teachers, a clan of hyenas, an army of soldiers, a brood of hens, an orchard of fruit trees, etc. We can use the collective noun without using the noun to which it refers. We can use the collective noun without using the noun to which it refers. For example, the staff of teachers, that is, the army of soldiers, the choir of singers. So if we simply say the staff, we know we are talking about teachers. If we say the army, we know we are talking about the soldiers. If we say the choir, we know we are talking about a group of singers. Now, before we move on to the next page, I would like you to name collective noun that you know. Right, boys and girls, let's refer to page 4. Let's open on page 4 of our booklets. These are activities for the collective nouns. Complete the phrases using the collective nouns in the box. Right, the collective nouns in the box, we have swarm, litter, army, flock, fleet, chest, deck, shawl, album, pair, library, troop, pride, peck, and plug. All right. So you choose one to complete the phrases which are shown. For example, number 1, it says a dash of sheep. We say a flock of sheep. And dash of photographs. We say an album of photographs. So from number 3 up to the last one, you do them on your own. Let's quickly look at activity 2. Read the passage. It says, underline all the collective nouns in the passage below. We underline the collective nouns, or you highlight if you have a highlighter. I remember our first school outing so well. My friends, my teacher, and I visited a farm in the Omaheke region. After we arrived, a team of oxen pulled us on a huge wagon to the barn. There we were able to feed an entire flock of sheep and the lambs too. We saw a herd of cows being milked. The brood of hens were most upset when the farmer took a clutch of eggs from their nest. My best friend and I collected small bundles of sticks and put them in our pockets. We kept them as souvenirs. Right, that's the paragraph, that's the passage. Now, on page 5, it says, write 6 sentences using collective nouns from the passage. Remember, I said in the passage, you highlight the collective nouns or you underline them. Now you pick 6 of them and write sentences. Okay. The next activity 3, write the missing words in the spaces provided. Write the missing words in the spaces provided. The words are fish, crowd, tools, stairs, bunch, bench, pair, birds. The first one, a dash of people. We say a crowd of people. Boys and girls, that is fairly easy. You can proceed completing those phrases using the given words. Let's quickly move to activity 4. On the same page, it says, use the words in the box to complete each sentence. This exercise is similar to the one in exercise 3. Nevertheless, these are now sentences. The words are shoal, flight, swarm, wolves, crowd, pair, outfit, head, chest. A dash of narrow steps led to the cabin. We would say a pair of narrow steps led to the cabin. All right. Our milk comes from the herd of Jersey cows. So, boys and girls, what remains is for you to complete. Let's turn to the next page, which is page 6. Activity 5, fill in the blank spaces using the words in the box below. Write the best possible answer for each collective noun. Right. The answers are given at the bottom. Army, head, choir, chest, pocket, litter, bouquet, bale, fleet, bowl, band, and bundle. Example number 1, a dash of flowers. We would say a bouquet of flowers. So we do the rest on our own. Make sure you write correct spellings. Right, activity 6. What does it say? Draw a line from the collective noun on the left to the correct noun on the right. Right, on the left we are given collective nouns, from flock to quiver. So you join to the actual nouns which are on the right, the common nouns which are on the right. The first one has been done for you. Flock, we say a flock of birds. Boys and girls, let's quickly complete the remaining part. And activity 7. Activity 7. Our activity 7 says, who does these collective nouns describe? Who does these collective nouns describe? This is on page 7. Write the common noun in the box next to the correct collective noun. Write the common noun in the box next to the collective noun. We have directors, ships, thieves, ants, horses, cards, fish, peacocks, vipers, and flingers. Right. Common nouns, write the common noun in the box next to the correct collective noun. Right. A gang of dash, a school of dash, a colony of dash, a brood of dash, a stud of dash, a hen of dash, a fleet of dash, a board of dash, a master of dash. Right. A gang of thieves. You do the rest. All right, still on our page 7 of the booklet, activity 8 says, read the passage and answer the questions below. Right, let's follow through as I read so that we will be able to answer the questions on the next page. Right, it says, at sunrise one day, the peace at Etosha National Park was shattered. A flock of birds flew up into the sky, twittering to themselves. The animals were on high alert. A patrol of wardens had arrived with men driving a convoy of trucks to clear the park of the invader bush. The animals were forced to move out of their natural habitats. A troop of monkeys fled swinging from tree to tree, making chattering sounds. The pride of lions roared and walked away proudly. The head of elephants trumpeted and stampeded off, making clouds of dust. A large swarm of bees followed the queen bee in search of a new place to nest. A colony of ants scurried away from the danger. A pack of wild dogs gnashed their teeth and barked at the intruders. A nest of snakes slithered into the long grass. Sorry. The entire park was in uproar. The men sawed and chopped until the sun was setting. Finally, the noise from their machines died down. The men loaded the heaps of rubbish onto their lorries. The animals were nervous. They did not return until the next day. The clumps of trees that remained were just what they enjoyed eating from and sleeping in. The stress of their ordeal was worth it. Right. That's it, boys and girls, for the passage. Now we move on to the next page. Remember, as you read the passage, it's important to highlight the collective nouns. Right. On the next page, on page 8, there are some questions. So we do those questions, try to answer them in full. And boys and girls, remember, we have ended our lesson here, but we don't confuse these nouns, the collective nouns. Remember, we also did proper nouns, we did common nouns, and earlier on we looked at abstract nouns. So these are collective nouns. So make sure you all understand them. Right, I also talked about the sanitizing, which maybe we should practice now. Hello, take your sanitizer. Right? Remember to squeeze inside your palms, outside, and then in between the fingers. And always, always, boys and girls, the mask should always be on. And the social distance is maintained by a 1 meter apart, all right? So that we don't spread this disease. And as students, as clever students, let me say, we should not stop reading. We should not stop learning from the online lessons. Let's continue doing it so that by the time we come back to school, we'll all be fresh, we'll be remembering. We would not have forgotten a lot of things that we've been learning. Thank you, boys and girls. We will meet in the next lesson. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh and I'm back. Even though the schools are closed, I thought about we can still do online classes, learning and reading. You can also do your schoolwork. Till next time. Bye!
So that concludes the lessons that we have planned for you today. But before we go, we visited the Karas region to just see how the distribution of the booklets has been going, and we spoke to the Inspector of Education. And after that, we would like to show you an interview with one of our teachers, because they're working very hard to put these lessons together and working on the booklets. But before we go, always remember to sanitize your hands and to keep a safe distance. And until next time, please keep yourself safe.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Joseph, representing Namibia Media Holdings and MyZone. This morning I'm in Keetmanshoop at the Kalahari Circuit Office. And without any further ado, I'll let my guest introduce herself and take us a bit through the journey of receiving our booklets as well as distributing it. Hi ma'am, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you so much. Elizabeth, I am Mrs. Constance Mantenaar, Inspector of Education, responsible for the Kalahari Circuit, and then also a few schools in the Garib Circuit, that is now schools in Karasburg. So I would like to thank you for this opportunity, granting me this morning to actually explain to you how we deliver and distribute the booklets. First of all, I have to say thank you so much for creating this type of booklets. What we did is, when we received the booklets from the courier service, we actually count the number of books that were sent to us. So we recorded it, and then we also let the schools know that your next assignment is here, please come and collect it. In the meantime, we also have the statistics of the school, the 15 school day data, and according to that data, we count then the number of books per schools in the circuit. So, and then the principals, they really tried their utmost best to come to the circuit office. They even sent people, I'm talking now of schools outside Keetmanshoop. So when the village council or the police, anybody with transport in Keetmanshoop is there for the day, they also make use of the services of these people. And these people are very helpful when it comes to the distribution of the booklets.
Wow, that's awesome to hear. And what type of impact do you think this booklet will then make to the child that receives it?
Yes, I spoke to some principals, and they informed me that the teachers are actually very happy with the content of the books. They informed the principals that most of the work they have covered before the lockdown, and they are actually very positive, stating that the learners will benefit, because there are activities where they have to write, where they have to color in, they have to read. So it will definitely help them to recall, revise the previous work, and also when they come back to school, they will definitely have something that the teachers can work on.
All right, that's amazing. And maybe just a few pointers that you can give to the other circuit officers in terms of how you guys manage it here every day, because it must be tough for you to just be calling people, making sure everything is running smooth. So maybe just a few key pointers for them.
Yeah, what I can say is that at the other circuit offices, for example, since we are in Keetmanshoop, so everybody is just calling here, we also advise then principals in other places not just to give the booklets to the learners of that specific school, because some of the learners are on holiday, some of them are coming from farms and so forth, and so they're supposed to distribute these books to these learners as well. So they have to make use of constituency councillors. That is what we do. And even the farmers, they are also very helpful. So they also come to the circuit offices and inquire whether we have something for the learners on the farm. And the schools do have the information of the parents, so they know exactly where to find these learners. They even have contact numbers of the farmers, even the police. So they also, when they go out to farms or to rural areas, they normally ask for anything that we would like to distribute to these people. So this is what I can say, and some advice that I can give. Even churches, pastors, they are also very helpful, constituency councillors, traditional authorities, and the farmers. These people are really the key persons that you can make use of to distribute these booklets.
All right, so there you have it. Thank you so much for keeping it locked on MyZone's Facebook page, and from me and my lovely guest over here, it's bye-bye for now, but stay tuned for more information in regards to the distribution of the booklets all over Namibia. Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth and we are back in studio with another teacher. So before we get into anything, you know how this goes. We have to first sanitize. There we go. Alright ma'am, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, ma'am?
Great, thank you. So please tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you and what is it that you do?
Okay, I'm Miss Namwandi. I'm a teacher at Pioneers Park Primary School. I'm an English teacher. I teach grade 4, English first and English second language.
All right, so what exactly have you been doing here at NMH?
Okay, we have been preparing lessons for the nation. It started last week, I think 2 weeks ago. So we were busy preparing the lessons and the printout. So yeah, so basically we were just here preparing the lesson for the nation, that's it.
All right, how did you find that process?
It was hectic, stressing, but yeah, with God, all was possible.
All right. If you could encourage your learners just with a few words, what would you tell them right now?
Okay, I'll tell them it's not the end of the world. God is talking to us in another way. So just do your part, study what we are going to give you now and do your part. And please remember to wash your hands.
All right. So there you have it. Very beautiful advice from your teacher. Remain sanitized and always make sure that you keep your mask on. So from us here in studio, it is bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. Ciao. I love you.